Welcome, everyone, to the February Elevator Show, where myself, Kirk Buchner, and my co host, Chris Mouradian, we look at who in the last month had their best month that really helped their respective Hall of Fame chances, and who did not, who sort of did not do particularly well over the month and might have sabotaged his or her chances. Uh, we talked a little bit before, since you've got a little bit more content than I've got. We'll see if we overlap because we don't actually tell each other what we're doing or who we're going to say. We like to be surprised and
Yep.
react accordingly. So there might be overlap, there might not be. But you've got three ups, two downs. I've got three ups, one down, and I will hand it off to you, Chris. Who you
All
got?
right. All right. Thanks, Kirk. So I'm going to start with some football ups here.
Okay.
And actually got two here. And it's kind of based off of what happened this past February with the actual Hall of Fame selections.
Oh,
So the coach contributor committee nominated um, Buddy Parker as their candidate for this year. And unfortunately, he was voted down by the broader committee.
right.
Um, so kind of reading into that, what we have, there's some things in his coaching history that didn't sit well with some people, and some other things that were brought up that may or may not have happened. But what I kind of read out of that is that a more modern era coach is probably going to have a better chance of getting in. And so that kind of led me to two of the more modern coaches that were right there at the end with Buddy Parker that weren't nominated this year, and that's the Mike Holmgren and Mike Shanahan.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
like where
so
you're going with this. Mhm.
yeah, it came from what we've heard. It came down between Buddy Parker and Mike Holmgren. So to break the tie there, I went with Mike Holmgren as my up for this month. Um, to kind of put into perspective what Mike accomplished with his coaching career, prior to um, coming into the Packers in 1992, 24 seasons between Vince Lombardi and Mike Holmgren. Packers had a total of 4 winning seasons. Mike coached 7 years with the Packers, had 7 winning seasons. So he really kind of turned the team around from the depths that they were in and put them on the track that they've been on for the last 30 plus years now, where they are perennial playoff team and Super Bowl contenders. So that's my first up for this month.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good one. I guess should I go with one of mine?
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you just
Yeah,
stay positive for a little while here?
yeah. Sounds good. Actually, I'll just sort of like throw an actual quick down. I only have one down, but I think based on what we saw in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I will say elevator down for anyone who was a senior who played before 1970.
Yeah, it's one of my downs is was specifically AFL wide receivers.
Okay, well, I guess I'll
So
let you sort of like go to that when that sort of comes.
yeah,
Uh, I'm going to go to hockey, and it's funny because this is going to be the second show in a row where this name comes up along with another one. I'm going to go stay right here at home with a goalie who's on pace. I think right now, like if the Vezina was awarded today, he'd win his second, and that's Connor Hellebuck.
okay.
Uh, he's having right now they're playing, so I don't quite know what's happening now. I paused that, so I'll watch the rest of that later. But
Good job.
well, yeah, it's priorities. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's 2024. Even a man can multitask. If, I don't know if my wife heard that, she probably disagree. Uh, but yeah, right now I'm looking at what he's leading. So he's leading the league in goalie point shares, 9.8, goals against average, 2.21, and 26 in the advanced metric of goals saved above average. Uh, if he wins his second Vezina, and right now it's his to lose, and there's going to be another person I'll talk about who might take it from him. he will be, if you win in the modern era, and I say modern era with the Vezina because the Vezina changed how they actually award things. Uh, Initially, it used to be to whoever had whatever team or player, because you could have multiple winners with the lowest goals against average until they rechristened that the William M. Jennings Award when the
Right.
Vezina, and accurately so, went to the person who
Mhm.
is truly, in fact, the best goalie. There's only one goalie who won the Vezina twice who's not in the Hall of Fame and probably won't be, and that's actually another American. I think he's American, Tim Thomas.
Yeah, he's an American.
Yeah,
Boston goaltender.
right,
Yep.
right. But Thomas didn't make it to the NHL until he was 31.
Yeah. He had kind of an odd start to his career.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like it's one of the more fascinating careers of anyone who ever won so many awards.
Mhm.
And to actually sort of find your stride after 30, that doesn't happen.
No,
No,
no.
but he did. But Connor's younger than that. Connor's only 30 right now. So presumably, and goalies age differently. Sometimes they age much quicker, sometimes they don't. If he wins a second Vezina, that is going to make it pretty hard unless he really falls off a cliff. Because he only needs to be sort of average after, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he stays with a strong organization like Winnipeg is currently,
Currently.
and continues on with what he's doing, there's no reason why he's not definitely on a path to potential Hockey Hall of Fame.
Mhm. And just a quick shout, not shout out, a shout to the Winnipeg Jets fans. Hey, we weren't supposed to be good this year. We're doing really well, and we're at 87% attendance. The only one team's worse, and I know you can guess who that is.
But they get a lot of out of town visitors, don't they?
Well, but hold on. Now, actually, no, overall attendance, not in percentage. I don't even know what their percentage is. Only Arizona's drawn less because,
They play in a college rink,
yeah,
or
I think a
is it even a college
6,000
rink?
seater.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I don't even know which college. I mean, like, I don't think there's a whole lot of great rinks in Arizona. I don't know how that all worked out, but uh, either way, even Gary Bettman was here, and so like that's not a good sign.
Yeah. No, that's a very interesting and good choice there. I like it. I always like when you dip into the hockey world there. And to pull an American goaltender up as
Well, we were saying just last time we spoke, it's where I pretty much passed over the hockey mantle to the United States as the best hockey country right now in the world. Sorry, Canada, I'm a Canadian. I love you, you know that, but I don't say it lightly. I don't want to say it. That's what I truly believe.
yeah, we'll find out in next year or 2 years. And they got like a four countries tournament next year, and then
Mhm.
they got the Winter Olympics. Is that
Well, providing that they're in that, so I guess that'd be
yeah,
28 because the summer ones are next, aren't they?
summer this year though?
No, no, summer's 26. The
Okay.
winter's not. Yeah, or no, it can't be this year.
I,
Yeah.
I haven't
I
seen enough
should know
commercials yet.
this, but I don't. Whamp, whamp. Uh, Elevator up. Who's also
All right.
riding this elevator?
All right. Well, I'm going to stick with football again.
Okay.
And again, another player that's been retired for quite some time, and that is Ken Anderson. Probably
Okay.
the best quarterback not in the Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
at least the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And the reason he is on my elevator up this month is that he was selected to the National Quarterback Club Hall of Fame.
Ooh. Okay.
So a lot of times you'll find with retired players when they receive like a secondary Hall of Fame nomination or a Ring of Honor induction, that tends to boost their profile for a little while.
Mhm.
And with the senior committee meetings coming up here this summer, Ken was in the top six last year.
Mhm.
Um, and with his accomplishments off the field, on and off the field, he's kind of, this is something else to kind of raise his profile going into that next meeting here. And so I saw that. I thought, yeah, that's another feather in his cap, another boost to his
Mhm.
overall standing, and hopefully for Ken Anderson and Bengals fans, it's something to push him into that the top 3 nominees for the 2025 Hall of Fame.
I like it. Yeah, that's my most wanted quarterback at present. And he played after 1970, so there you go.
He's got a chance.
He's
He's
got a
saying there's a
chance.
chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. I'm saying there's a very good chance.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with hockey for another up. And I sort of foreshadowed that there's one other goalie who might knock him off the perch. I don't think he can, but it's possible. And you've got to look at the Vancouver Canucks turnaround. And Elias Pettersson's doing what he always did. So is JT Miller, but we're getting a lot of other great play from unexpected sources. Uh, Thatcher Demko in between the pipes has really improved his game. He's only ninth in goals against average with a 2.5, but he's fifth in save percentage with 9.17, 9.5 in goalie point shares, second only behind Hellebuck, but leading the league in wins. And Vancouver plays a more open style, which he gets a lot more shots than most goalies.
Yeah, he has to stand on his head more often than Hellebuck does to keep Vancouver in those games there.
Right. I mean, it's kind of giving Grant Fuhr vibes. And I thought you'd also like that. A, American, B, your team, Vancouver.
Yep, I do like it. Yeah, there was the always referred to as bubble Demko when Vancouver kind of unexpectedly pushed Tampa Bay to the brink in 2019, 2020 playoffs. And he was one of the real reasons why they were able to advance as far as they did. And then the subsequent seasons, the team just kind of went back to being what they were for the most part, and just kind of floundered around. I think they might still be paying 3 head coaches at this point. Travis Green may have finally been paid out, but he's been, if not their best player, their most important player. And I like where your head's at with these goaltenders that are kind of rising above and carrying their teams to heights that maybe they weren't expected. I know for sure Vancouver wasn't expected to be
No, they were not
where they are now. And Winnipeg too, they're a great story this season.
Yeah, they are. I think also with Demko, because he's 28 and he just went to his second All-Star game, he's got a shot at a postseason All-Star, which are certainly very big for any player. I mean, you can advance to the Hall without it, not if you're goalie. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Yeah, goalies stats and postseason awards like that really do boost their profile for the selectors for the Hockey Hall of Fame. So yeah, when like you mentioned the Vezina, the Jennings kind of a nice little award for the goalie team, kind of like a goalie team award. But the postseason awards with like the All-Stars, that's big too.
Right. Yeah, so I think because when I was looking at a lot of the other players who are excelling this year, a lot of them in hockey have already won something or close to making a case. I thought about going with Sam Reinhart, but then I sort of like decided to leave that. Yeah, so I've got 2 goalies on the elevator.
I like it. I like it.
All right,
All right.
your third and final.
My third and final. So I don't know about you, but I'm a race fan. NASCAR had their Super Bowl, shall we say, this past February, and William Byron was the winner. Now, the Daytona 500, for those that aren't race fans, is NASCAR's signature race. And a lot of times winning the Daytona 500, while it may not be the end all be all of pushing somebody into the Hall of Fame, it's definitely one of those races that you want to see on a Hall of Fame resume. Now, William Byron, he's a younger racer at 26 years old, so he's got a lot of races ahead of him. But getting that signature win at a young age definitely raises their profile. He's with one of the top teams in NASCAR, Hendrick Motorsports. So he's got chances pretty much every time he goes out there to be in a car that can win a race. So it'd be interesting to see how his season goes here after getting that first win and getting that big win with the Daytona 500. So yeah, he's I think that raises his profile there.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I've got a weird one, maybe. So February always has the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is necessarily a weird one, only because at this point, if his career ended, I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer because he only played 2 years. Uh, I think maybe you and I can agree that there should be no doubt at this point that Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelsey are all first ballot Hall of Famers now. People didn't think that before, I can't see why they wouldn't now. Although Kelsey, he almost took like a when he bumped into Reid there at that one point, had a bit of roid rage going on there.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look on the NFL's biggest stage there.
It was not, but they won the game, so it's going to be forgotten.
Exactly.
So had they lost, I don't know. You could have pointed. That was early in the game, mind you, but still,
Mhm.
it was a bonehead move that will forever be forgotten.
Nice.
Which
Yep.
good and good on him. But I'm going to go with somebody who did not get as much screen time as Taylor Swift. But the person I had as the actual MVP of the Super Bowl to me, and I said this to my co-host on the Retro Football Show, Paul Lawrence, and of course, Paul's a good friend of ours.
Yep.
Uh, that because we keep reviewing all the old Super Bowls, and I always thought there should be, or I didn't always think, it's more of a recent thought actually, that every Super Bowl should have an offensive and a defensive MVP
Okay.
because rarely does a defensive player win. It can happen, but it doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, the only one that really pops to mind is Chuck Hawley and Rod Martin.
And Jake Scott.
Jake Scott. Yep.
Yeah. So the person I had here, and also too, I guess the Super Bowl win also helps Chris Jones, but the one who stood out to me, who also had his first team All Pro, is Trent McDuffie.
Hmm.
So he was targeted 7 times. He allowed 9 yards. That's it. Debo was held to virtually nothing for someone who's supposed to be your big weapon. His perfect coverage of Debo in the end zone, robbing them of a touchdown. Was one of the best coverage I ever saw. Uh, he also too he really had the defensive play of the game when he only rushed the passer once. That one time resulted in a bad ball pass deflection,
Mhm.
which forced San Francisco to go for a field goal instead. Mahomes has less than under 2 minutes. That's all he needs. We know that's all he needs, and he was to me the real MVP. Whether that's going to remain folklore, I don't know, or maybe just in my head. But I now thinking I need another project. I think I'm going to go back and just like add defensive MVPs for every game. I think maybe that should be done.
There you go. Yeah, that's an interesting take. I like it. It's different. Um, Definitely an unsung hero for the game. Did not get
Yeah.
the recognition that maybe he deserved there. A young player, as you pointed out there. So a lot of game ahead of him here. So it'll be interesting to see what Kansas City does in the offseason. Their other cornerback, uh, Snead,
Mhm.
sounds like he may end up on his way out due to contract situation. So um, opens the door for more attention to McDuffie there.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to. Whenever there's a Super Bowl, obviously somebody's going to get elevated up. But when I looked at the big three, it's like, well, I think they're already there.
Yeah, I think so too. Is that Jack from our group? Jack's overseeing
Hmm.
the bus test.
Yeah,
I think all three of them passed the bus test,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
so yeah, I don't think that really there's really much stuff that they need to do. So
No, there's not. But if he can build on that and with his youth, I don't see why he can't. That is the type of momentum push. I mean, he's probably going to wind up doing that for another team. I know a lot of people have been predicting Kansas City's decline for a while, but I think it's real. Like it's gonna happen, just because they're gonna age out.
Yeah, for sure. That and the salary cap, one of them is going to get him, either the age or the salary cap.
Mhm.
And you're
Yeah,
starting to see a little bit of that this offseason already.
exactly. Yeah, and it'll be sort of interesting moving forward. But yeah, that was the person I couldn't take my eyes off of the whole game. I
Yeah,
just couldn't, and I wanted to give him that prop because if you're that good when it matters the most, if I noticed it, I'm sure a lot of voters noticed it too.
yeah. Great point. Biggest game of the season to shine out like that. Absolutely.
Right. Okay, so I guess elevator down for you. I'll let you do the two because I'm sure mine's not going to overlap with yours.
Yeah, actually, kind of mentioned it earlier in the show. Kind of going back to this Pro Football Hall of Fame selections this past February. Art Powell was one of the three senior nominees. And he was the one that was not selected by the committee to advance to the actual selection to the Hall of Fame. And again, you don't get a lot of firm details coming out of the meeting, but one of the things you kind of heard was that the level of competition early on in the AFL days was not considered on par with the NFL, and so they kind of downgraded his career.
Mhm.
Um, so in looking at some of the other AFL wide receivers from that era, the Lionel James, the Charlie Hennigans, and possibly even like Otis Taylor, you got to kind of think that that puts their careers into a different light
Right.
by default there, and through no fault of their own, they went out there and they dominated the competition that they were up against. And I think you and I agree here that that bypassing Art Powell was a mistake, and he deserved, once the senior committee met and specifically selected him out of the entire pool of seniors that are available to be one of their three nominees, that he should have been selected for nomination.
I
And
think,
so,
yeah, I no, I like where you're going with that. I think also too, if I'm a member of those committees, I'm thinking, what am I doing? Especially the coaches, the coaches one.
coach contributor, yeah,
Yeah, coach contributor. Like, why did I bother? Why did I do this? If you're just going to thumbs down what we came up with, we're the ones who are tasked with being the experts on this. Presumably, they would know more than the regular voters on this particular topic. That's what they're there to do, and it was kind of an fu to them. That's how
yeah,
I would feel if I was on that.
I agree 100%. They were tasked with selecting, you know, going over all these coaches, all these senior players, selecting the best, spending the time arguing amongst themselves. I think it's a 12-member committee. They do this every year, so they have, they talk about these players year in, year out. They're on this committee because they're, tasked with finding the best coach or best contributor or the best three seniors, and to have it kind of thrown back in their face like that, really kind of disrespectful. I'm with you there.
Yeah, and same, I guess, to do that and to see Powell sort of go. And we both read what Clark Judge put up, that
Mhm.
because he's lifts the veil as much as he can,
Right.
and where they opened up with the amount of time that was spent on everyone, and it was over an hour.
Over
On
an hour on Buddy Parker.
So what went on there? It had have been
That's
bad.
Yeah, that's a real interesting um takeaway from their meeting. That you have a coach that has as much history as he has with the league, the championships, the teams he elevated, the last coach to take the Lions to a championship.
Yep.
His career against arguably one of the greatest coaches in all time, and Paul Brown, how many times he beat him for the league championships. And for the committee to argue to finally get him nominated and then to have the entire committee vote him down is really disappointing.
Well, you have to wonder by what percentage. I mean, I don't even know if they know themselves, like when that sort of goes through, like if they're told that.
Yeah, not sure. It's
Yeah.
it's at least 11. That's all we know.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently there were some like racist allegations, which he's not here to defend himself. I don't even know what exactly it was. Now, if it was something that was, if it's true, okay, I get it,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, there from everything read after
yeah,
the actual meeting, nobody could really put a finger on anything racial that they could definitively say that this happened and this was the result of it or anything like that. So I think at that point with somebody that's passed that you kind of gotta get, I don't want to say ignore it, but you really have to have some good hard concrete evidence to kind of hold that against them at that point.
which perhaps was presented.
Maybe they did,
I
it's
don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. I'd never heard anything to that effect before. I mean, it's not
not
like we're
before
talking about
this year.
it's not like we're talking about who's the Washington Redskins owner at one point.
Dan Snyder.
No, no, the one before, like the one who refused to have black players.
Oh,
Well,
Jack Kent Cook.
thank you. Yeah, okay, I was blanking on
Yeah,
that. It's not like we're
yeah,
talking about this guy. We didn't have a problem putting him in the hall,
no,
but anyway,
no.
uh, that's neither here nor there. Do you want to do your second? Yeah,
That's up to you. I can do it. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, okay, so February is the start of baseball season, and there is one player who is not in training camp right now, and that's Wander Franco. From Tampa Bay. So he was given a very large contract by a team that generally doesn't spend a ton of money.
They do not.
He is the face of the team
Was.
and was the face, yeah, was. And after allegations surfaced last September or August, I think,
Yeah.
he was placed on administrative leave and has not returned to the team. He's currently in the legal system, I believe, in the Dominican Republic, with all sorts of accusations flying around. Um, and right now, he is no longer on the path to Hall of Fame that he may have been on up to this point.
He's on a different path. All right. We will never see him again, unless this is proven untrue. But it doesn't look like, from what I've read, it doesn't appear to be the case. I will never understand how athletes or celebrity or whomever, anyone in the public eye in this modern age. I mean, Wonder's what, 23, right? He's not even,
23. Yep.
he's 23. All right. If you're under 25 and you grew up completely in the social media era, how stupid are you
Yes.
to know this stuff could possibly come out? I mean, you and I are old, me especially. I'm old enough to remember when camera phones were these little squares, and we were sort of like so happy to get any kind of picture on anything.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there's no excuse for that level of stupidity and, for that matter, this level of depravity. It's just a disgusting thing. I don't know first of all, what are you turned on by? What do you talk about?
Yeah. And, the age levels, here.
Mm,
Um, and like I said, even if all this stuff is found to be not true and everything was
mhm.
completely false accusations or whatever, is any team going to welcome him back? I mean, Trevor Bauer was found to have been the
Mhm.
victim in his situation and proved that he's still a top-notch player by what he did over in Japan. He doesn't have anybody beating down his door to sign him right now.
But he's also an asshole.
There there is a difference there. Yes,
Yeah.
he's got a personality that tends to grate against
Against his
98%
teammates. Yeah.
of the population,
Hmm.
but he still was at the time, he was Cy Young quality pitcher
Hmm.
that help teams win, but he can't get a job now,
He cannot. And,
at least a
and
major league job.
no, probably not. I guess he's not going back to Japan at this, or maybe he will. I don't
Mm,
know. I mean, I read that he said he'd take league minimum somewhere
yeah,
just to take a chance. But I
just
mean,
just to prove himself again. Yeah,
yeah, but he's also, I checked out some of his more recent YouTube. It's like sometimes he hasn't necessarily learned not to be that annoying guy. And there wasn't a lot of tears shed, even when a player of that caliber was forced out of the league by his teammates.
no, there wasn't a lot of teammates that really, or competitors or players he played with in the past that kind of stood up for him. So there is that.
I do think he should get another shot because from everything that we saw, that did come out, and I was one of those people. I said, yeah, I totally believe her. Believe her. Yeah, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
I got that wrong. It's okay to admit when you're wrong. Yeah, that is a good one because yeah, he's done. Fareco's done. I don't know that I've got a problem with that either.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, so this one it might not. I don't know how well you know the rock hall, but usually I try like reasonably well. Or okay,
I kind of pay attention when the ceremony is going on. That's about. I couldn't tell you the first
okay,
um, thing that would elevate somebody to be nominated.
all right. Well, I've got one who's an elevator down only because I don't understand how she wasn't nominated this year. Now, and I'll apologize again ahead of time. Usually, I try not to do the rock ones on this one, or I say try this one or second one, but this
Yeah.
one to me is so out there that I even though I talked about that with Evan on our weekly show, I'm bringing this one up again. Uh, Jan Wenner was the guy who pretty much was the brainchild of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was the head of Rolling Stone for a long time. Uh, so he was the chairman. It was his idea. He put it all together. Without Jan Wenner, there would be no Rock Hall. Jan Wenner is also not exactly the best guy in the world. He stepped down from the main from and had appointed someone else in the chair, but he was still on the board of directors. Now he did an interview with the New York Times a few months ago. I'm just gonna read and apologize here. I got to put on my reading glasses, and if you think I look like the guy from Up, yes, I do.
Charles Nelson Riley.
I'm one of the few people who actually would get that joke, but yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's great. I love it. I love it. I was thinking, do I try to do a Charles Nelson Riley impression? No, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Okay. So Jan Winter did an interview with New York Times, and I try to stay away from politics here, but it's a left-wing publication. And I bring that up because Jan should have known better, especially in somebody who worked or ran a magazine as progressive as Rolling Stone, especially how progressive they've become. Okay, so the controversy stemmed from an interview Winter did while publicizing his new book, The Masters, which features older interviews with musicians like Bob Dylan, Jerry Garcia, Mick Jagger, John Lennon, Bruce Springsteen, Pete Townsend, and Bono. Now, all of those people are white and male. So he got asked by the interviewer why you didn't interview women or black musicians, I guess, for this book. This was his response. It's not that they're inarticulate, although go have a deep conversation with Grace Slick or Janis Joplin. Please be my guest. Now, Janis Joplin's been dead since before I was born, so I don't think that conversation would. He's right about that. It wouldn't be that articulate. Sue went on. Please be my guest. You know, Joni Mitchell was not a philosopher of rock and roll. She didn't, in my mind, meet the test. Of black artists, Stevie Wonder, genius, right? I suppose when you use a term as broad as Masters, the fault is using that word. Maybe Marvin Gaye, maybe Curtis Mayfield. I mean, they just didn't articulate at that level.
I don't know where to go with that.
There's nowhere you can. I mean, like, I don't know if I never heard that he was a racist before. I don't know that he is, but I've heard a lot of stories of his sexism, which is clearly on display here. either way, he got axed, and I think that was something they were looking forward to do. Now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame then put out a list of nominees that was, I don't want to say the most baffling, but it was very unique because it was almost like they were saying "F you, John Winter," because that's how it felt. One of the bands they nominated was Foreigner,
Okay.
who allegedly, according to a story that the lead singer, former lead singer Lou Gramm said, he was told by Mick Jones, because they were friends. Mick Jones was good friends with Jan Winter, and he went to the office and asked, "How come we've never been nominated?" And it went into a yelling thing that resulted in him saying, "Border will never get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ever." So here they are nominated for the first time after being eligible for over 20 years. Now, when I look at something that where they want to prove, hey, this is the new hall, this is not Jan's, we're not racist, we're not this. Uh, they did nominate 5 female singers, but they missed out on one who would have ticked every box and belongs there and is actually enjoying the most attention she's ever gotten in years. That's Tracy Chapman.
Tracy Chapman.
Yeah, right. So, perfect candidate. Black, female, writes her own stuff, critically acclaimed, gay, and everyone knows her big hit because it just became a bigger hit. Was it Luke Combs? I'm not a big country guy.
Yep. Luke
Okay,
Combs did a fabulous cover of it.
right,
And
and they just performed together on the Grammys.
I was just gonna say, yeah, and he brought
So
her out to sing her song with him. That was such a great performance.
yeah, and she meets everything. Now they nominated Sinead O'Connor right after she died. Thanks. They nominated Cher after she said, "I would never go into this effing hall if they paid me whatever." Uh, the only time I ever mentioned Kelly Clarkson because she just said that on the Kelly Clarkson show. Now, to be fair, it's a different. It's they're showing it's a different regime, and I guarantee you, Cher is getting in. I guarantee it. But
Hey, shares our median, so more power to her.
there you go. There you go. So I just had to bring this up again because like this was perfect. It was the perfect year for her,
Mm-hmm.
and so of course they flubbed that one for a couple other women who won't have a shot in hell.
Yeah, no, yeah, as you mentioned, I'm not really big on the hall, but you know, Tracy Chapman is definitely somebody I know.
Yep.
Fast Car, definitely one of my favorite songs.
Mhm.
And as you mentioned, you know, to have her career brought back into the forefront, you know, but with Luke Combs doing the cover there, and then them performing together and on such a big stage there, and just like I said, just knocking it out of the park. And yeah, you know, I'll take. I don't know the nomination process for the hall, but
I don't either. I just know they have a committee and that they
yeah,
put it out. Oh, there's because they're so stupid. So what they did, right? They announced because you never know what day they're going to do it. They're so stupid about how to generate buzz. It's like they make money in spite of their own stupidity. So they announced they were going to do the announcement on, I want to say, I forget the exact date, but it was 2 days before the Super Bowl, 3 days before the Super Bowl. So what happens on that day? The NFL honors when they announce the Pro Football Hall of Fame class. So somebody must have clued them in on that. And then the week after, they say, "Oh yeah, we're going to be dropping this on February 10th." Like, do you not do any goddamn research? Like, whoever runs that, it's got to be like I don't know, a mountain of morons. I don't know.
well, wasn't the Grammys just like in that time frame as well? You know, and that's like
Do it.
a big
Do it
a
then.
big event. Can't you tie the two together?
There's got to be a way, like tie it with the Grammys. I'm sure that'd be a great idea. There's no reason why they couldn't do that. It would probably get a lot of other people who care about that sort of thing. All three of us, to sort of maybe watch the Grammys, for a change. I mean, basketball for all its flaws does it perfectly. Finals are announced on All Star Weekend, and the class is announced during the Final Four.
Hmm.
Football right before the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Uh, Baseball, eh, Baseball's baseball. I mean, Baseball Hall of Fame, whether baseball is the biggest sport or not, it's still the biggest Hall of Fame for sports.
Sure, it's within their off season. It's kind of something to help bridge the gap to spring training from the World Series, winter meetings, and free agency, and everything else that goes on after the season's over. So, yeah,
And hockey, let's do it in the summer.
and and not even tie it to
The
your one
draft.
event that actually is in the summer, the draft, or
Yeah.
yeah.
You do it in the draft, you do it in the same city.
Hmm.
I mean, I know that maybe they don't want to because they always do that in Toronto, but you don't have to.
No, they just,
Yeah.
as you said, they make money in spite of themselves.
Well, I mean, hockey, I think the hockey hall, I don't know for sure, but it's not a large facility. So they probably, yeah, there's the Toronto tax and all, but I don't think I think they make money. They
Mhm.
certainly don't act as if they need it.
No, no, they don't. The football hall, it's been a while since I've been there. Hope that maybe this summer we're visiting again. I'm
Mhm.
not sure yet, but you know, they at least try to promote the hall. I don't really hear much promotion for the hockey hall.
No, 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 very, very little. And that's also a weird process too, because I don't really know what it is, other than 18 people gather and then they seem to decide that day. Do
Mhm.
they do it by a vote? Does Lanny just tell them what to do? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a mystery, and I think if they were a little more open with their process, um, maybe it'd bring more of us into
Mhm.
wanting to talk about it, wanting to help, promote it on our own, because we
Yeah.
enjoy the process.
But I think also too, where they also have also controversy also bleeds into it. Baseball is also very popular Hall of Fame because we could make an all-star team that would trump the actual Hall of Famers in a way.
For those not in.
Yeah,
Hmm.
or be competitive for sure. Hockey doesn't have that. Basketball doesn't have that.
Now, basketball, as you mentioned, they have a great process, but
I
again,
know
as just to say, it's just so hidden.
it's
How
completely
do
hidden.
we have no sort of, outside of who is like a first ballot eligible, we really have no idea who's kind of rising, who's kind of falling, who is close. It's
Well, we
just a
don't even
surprise
know
every
the
year.
amount of people. We all that I think I told you this before. There was I was I've never been so excited to read an article when it was presented on ESPN. And it was like I forget what its title, but it was like behind the mysteries of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Oh, great! So I'm going to finally learn like who's really who's pulling the strings. I learned nothing other than it was a puff piece saying just trust us. They select the people who are selecting it know what they're doing. Thanks,
Yeah. Well,
but
it was it last year or 2 years ago? Marcus Johnson was a finalist and he didn't make it. Now he's not even there again. You
no.
think that if somebody was a finalist and they didn't make it, maybe there's a limit, maybe just he's
I,
not there. Yeah.
who knows?
And he was my favorite Buck growing up too. So
Oh, yeah.
that's that one kind of bothers me. He's one I really like to see
Okay.
get it. And the thing is, the Basketball Hall of Fame, they take into account their college career, which he was a star with UCLA,
Mhm.
and then a star with Milwaukee, and unfortunately injuries caught up to him after he was traded to the Clippers there. But no,
Also, he went to the Clippers.
yeah, it was a big trade. That was a tough one. There was, Milwaukee is not the most robust of ownership at the time with pay, and he wanted to be paid for his talent, and
Yeah.
maybe he deserved it. And they had a little back and forth, and he ended up being traded out for I think it was Terry Cummings, Ricky Pierce, Craig Hodges might have been involved in that deal. I know
Okay.
Junior Bridgman went with them, so that was a big deal back in the day.
I can tell you how Terry Cummings wound up in Milwaukee because I actually interviewed him once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I asked him. how he felt about being traded to Milwaukee. He said he had a dream about it, and that's where he wanted to be traded.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah.
and so he pushed to be traded to the Bucks based on a dream he had
Okay.
about Milwaukee.
Yeah, he was a fabulous player. Best player to wear number 34 before Giannis. He's another.
Nothing wrong being number 2 behind Giannis.
No, not really. No. Yeah, he was
Antetokounmpo. I just wanted to prove I could pronounce that.
alphabet. The alphabet.
Yes. There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Chris. If you like all
Thanks
the
for
other
having me.
Oh, so it's our pleasure. If you like all the things that we do here, there's been a lot more interviews on the site. There's always the weekly Hall of Fame show with Evan Nolan. Vinny Laspinuso will make Hall of Fame cases. Him and I have actually been doing a deep dive into the Basketball Hall of Fame nominees and just looking at some of the names that, and you wonder, who are they? Well, we kind of do a deep dive on it. It's a lot of fun, and we've been enjoying that. So check out all the other things that we're doing, and there's going to be some big news coming up also from Not in Hall of Fame in the United States Athletics Hall of Fame. Look for that maybe late March, early April. I don't know. Moving to Seattle sort of messing a few things up, but oh well. First world problems.
There you go.
All right. With that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make it a great day because it never comes again. Later.
Okay.